Hello and welcome to genuinely an incredibly special episode of Boys Gone Wild. I'm so excited I can barely contain myself. Coming into this episode, I was feeling like we didn't have much to talk about. Many weeks it's often hard to find stuff to talk about and it's an anxiety throughout the week. Then sometimes the gods shine brightly on the fortune of Boys Gone Wild. Clearly they listen to the pod. Greek gods, obviously, who I'm talking about. And they gave us a gift from the sky because just out of nowhere on the weekend, Andrew got clarted in the schnoz, betwixt the eyes, blood, little scar, nearly broken, potentially broken, punch to the face. I mean, for the Boys Gone Wild pod, I can't think of anything better than one of the pod hosts being clarted betwixt the eyes. It really was a dreamy sight. And when it happened on the weekend in Parsons Green of all places, a punch up in Parsons Green Park. Many people ran to Andrew's aid in fear of his own safety. I was jumping for joy. I was yipping like a young puppy because I could not believe the luck. The only negative emotion I think I felt in the moment was I was jealous it didn't happen to me, because then I would have that for life. But welcome to the show, Andrew.
Thank you.
Really he got clarted in the face.
It's good to be back.
He got punched in the face. He really did.
It looks like, because I had a week off last week,
Yeah.
it kind of looks like I took a week off because we had a fight or something.
Look
now.
at his face.
This is a lot better than it was. It's been pretty obscene for the last few
Do you want
days.
to show a photo of what it was like?
Well, why don't we just get the photos out of the way?
Yeah.
So
this is what it looked like straight after the clart.
That's there.
He got clarted.
Then there's one when I came back,
Yeah.
and then there's one the next morning, and then this is the worst one the morning after that.
Yeah.
And then that will do.
Yeah,
and
that'll
now
do.
we're here.
This is him now. But
This
it's so
is me now.
exciting because this never happens. We talk about wouldn't it be funny if, and then
Yeah.
you got clarted by some hoodlums.
I did get clobbered by some
You
hoodlums.
got clobbered in the schnoz.
Well, they clearly knew what they were doing.
They did, because you got fucked up so badly. Oh, God.
I mean, we could talk. Well, let's discuss what happened.
Let's discuss what happened. People are
Because
desperate
when
to know.
Horatio was just saying that he jumped for joy, he's not fucking exaggerating. As in, there
I was giddy.
back up could have been appreciated rather than the fucking
it was like,
paparazzi. You fucking ran in, and the photo that you just saw of me was both. Well, I'm kind of laughing that I just got punched, but I'm also going, why the fuck are you taking a picture of this?
He
right
was traumatized, and I was like, "This is where I'm good. This is where I get paid the big bucks. Is when emotionally, we're in a group with 20 of some of our closest friends. This is a very close knit group of people who all care about each other. Everyone there was worried, but me." Someone who has a big picture guy. This is why I get paid more than Andrew. So moments like this, I did not have an ounce of worry. I was focused on the task at hand. I was like, I need to capture this piece of history. I don't care if I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, it was a good idea to capture it, but I bled for like 2 hours. There were plenty of opportunities to do it. Not like a second after I got up off the
I need
floor.
to get it.
When people are still being kicked in other areas of our friends are still being kicked in other areas of the park.
Oh, God, I wish I'd got at least one Clark. Not a bad
Yeah, well, you
Clark.
would have if you went over to assist.
I was! I came as
You
quick
went over
as
to
pause.
take a picture.
No,
You ran over and went like that.
Tell the story and I'll explain my side, because
Okay.
I'm not having any of this slander.
So everyone that knows me, including you,
Nose, got clarted on the nose. That's a
yeah,
pun.
this is good. And this isn't something I've been experiencing for the last 5 days. What happened, if anyone that knows me knows I have 2 key beliefs. One of them is I have a zero tolerance policy on litter. And the other is you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelette.
It's true.
So if you
it's
put
really strange.
if you put
That's
those
two
there's
principles.
and those are my only 2 principles. And
Otherwise
I will be
valueless.
willing to die for them. And if you put those 2 things together, you've basically got the whole picture.
It's a
But
very
I'll say it
rare
for you anyway.
example.
We were in the park with our friends, many of them, and then we got out to leave the park and go home. Most of us had walked ahead, and there was one of my friends, Max Peterson, who is going to be named.
Yeah,
and
name him
shamed.
fully. Name him fully.
Max Peterson, who
He's a fucking
he is,
liability.
He is the belligerent of this whole situation.
He's the cause.
Because he is a fucking hothead. I love him. I love him to pieces, and I'll go to war for him. But he's a fuckhead.
He's a hothead.
So we're walking back through the park. Max, we've all had a few beverages, sure. But Max, to be fair to him, had painstakingly walked around our place in the park and picked up all the litter. So he had 2 big bags of litter, and I think he was feeling a bit smug about his own litter picking abilities.
Can I cut in? Because this is actually, it was me and Max were walking back, and he had 2 bags of litter he just put away.
Yeah.
And then I see
Yeah.
loads of litter strewn, and I point out.
Oh, yeah.
Was me.
You have so much more of a part in this than I've realised.
If I hadn't said that, none of this would have happened. It was me. It was me who started it. I mean, I don't take any blame for it, because you should be able to say this comment and not have a fucking hothead cause a potential.
You said it.
It was me.
It was
Did you not know that?
This
I think
is
I
your
told
fault.
you, but you were all fuzzy because you've been clarted betwixt the nose.
Oh, yeah, because as soon as you get punched, you don't want your mate to take a picture of you and go, well, I actually told him to do that. It's like, can you get me a fucking
Right,
tissue?
let's just tell them the story.
Right, so...
Wait, so from just this part.
Right,
before
you do your part.
Yeah, so I was walking along, I was with Max, and then I make a comment saying that's a lot of litter. I didn't realise, I thought some people had just left it.
You can't say that to Max.
I in retrospect, once Max, our friend, has drunk a couple of beverages, what's terrifying about our friend Max is he can be the drunkest of anyone and look completely sober, but then act like a weird sober guy, which is the worst kind of drunk. Because normally, if you're weird when you're drunk, you're like, ugh, but he acts
like our friend Paul.
Like our friend Paul, who was also there. But our friend Max, when he gets drunk, just seems like an odd sober man.
He does.
That's what's terrifying.
The way we summed up his humour, as in the other night when we came back, is like if you're having a normal conversation with friends, he'll just like leave and just stand against the wall doing nothing for a minute.
Like a sim who you've just left facing the wall.
Yeah.
Or like stand in the middle of the road and just
so he's
look
completely
weirdly.
fucked, but he has the ability to look together.
So I point at the litter and then I see him just like no expression, wasn't angry, wasn't anything, just started walking towards us. I was like, Max, please, Max, no. Because there's a group of like 20, 25 people all wearing like, I'd commented on how they're all wearing black, and this actually kind of adds something. I was like, that's kind of weird that they're all pretty much wearing black windbreakers and
they didn't look
black
friendly.
No, but Max on his own just walks up to fucking like
tell him off.
15 hard guys. And then I think you probably know.
So then he walked up and to a very large group of them, and I could see him. I could see what everyone else had left. So at this point, the only males left were me, you, Nick, and Max. Yeah. And I was standing there chatting to Izzy. And then I saw that he was standing there, and I was saying, oh, please don't do anything, for fuck's sake. And then I could see and know, Max, that he's not going to let anything go. And I could see it getting more and more heated. And there was this obscure, massive tree branch that was lying in the middle of the park. And I saw one of them pick it up. So at that point, I was, I went to Izzy, for fuck's sake, I'm going to have to go and try and solve this. So I went over, and I was also quite drunk. So I was trying to drag Max away.
Yeah.
But
you weren't the most diplomatic you've ever been.
I'm usually fairly diplomatic, but they were also
You had a tiny bit of a hothead.
I had a bit of a hothead that day because I thought they were about to hit Max with a fucking tree. Mm-hmm. So I went over to make sure he wasn't by himself getting hit by a tree. But actually I semi-escalated the situation.
Yes.
Because I went over and I went over and said, come on, boys. I mean, you should pick your fucking letter up. But anyway, just leave it. Let's go. Say, Max, let's go. And then it all gets a bit fuzzy from here.
You don't remember.
But I said, I was saying, come on, let's go. And they kept shouting or whatever. And then one of them picked up that tree and just like threw it at me. Yeah. And I went, oh, fuck off. Come on, let's just. And he went, did you just tell me to fuck off? One of them did.
What's going through your head when you have that question raised? Because
in my head, I really wanted to jab at them because they were.
But you know what?
My blood had boiled.
You know what they're setting up there.
Yeah, my blood had boiled at that point. And he went, "Oh, did you just tell me?" One of them went. There was a lot of them around me. One of them went, "Did you just tell me to fuck off?" And I went, "Yeah, actually, no, I think I did." And really sarcastic. Yeah. And then I think someone from this side just sucker punched me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't there's theory that it was twice.
After Andrew had left Izzy to go speak to Max, I started speaking to our friend Izzy. We're walking way ahead, and we're laughing. We're saying how weird Max is when they're drunk. Like, what's he do? This is ridiculous. And we stand still because we're quite far back away, and we're just watching. Andrew's up there. He's like, and we're laughing our head off. It's so funny. And then I see, but basically around the same time, Max get clarted. I feel something. Maybe you got hit in the stomach, or something.
No, I didn't. I got hit.
Or
in the
something
face.
made you like keel over, and then you seemed to get uppercut punched in.
It must have been twice because I've got I thought he might be wearing a ring.
Yeah, so I think he came from the side.
I think one bloke came from the side.
I think one guy hit you from the side,
and then another came. So
and then
it was literally.
Your head went down, and then you got.
So it was literally just like.
And then I chuck my beer and I run over as quick as possible, and I'm thinking, God, I got some options here because basically there's two options. There was three. You make it a hoedown. That's your option, which is like the normal masculine option is you make it a hoedown, which is you see your friends getting clarted and you're like, I'm going to throw in one clart and then get 4 clarts in the face, which I'd already seen happen to you.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about this. I've got the 2 girls with me screaming, stop, stop, stop. And I'm thinking, look, there's 15 of them. Let's just get people away. Then our friend Nick, who's way further ahead. So our friend Nick, who's a bigger hothead than both Paul and Max, way further ahead. I think smells it from a distance, almost like kind of the back call. He comes charging in like Sonic the Hedgehog.
I saw this from the floor. So I saw, like, I was still amongst, I think, being kicked loosely by these men. And then I saw, I was just kind of lying on the floor with blood pouring down my face, and I just see Nick run in, almost immediately fall over and just be kicked on the floor as well.
No, because what Nick, I think Nick was the only one, because Nick managed to get either the person who punched you or the person who punched Matt.
You get one in.
He run up the whole park. He properly got a hit. And then literally it was like a black cloud because they're all wearing black puffers. They just and like old school, you know, in films where people are like kicking with their whole body.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
yeah,
like
that was the
cheap, like kind of like New York 80s kind of like hip hop
Yeah,
films
yeah.
where it's like
It's
you're
like,
getting
yeah.
beaten up in the alleyway and it's kind of like a bit
and they're clearly fake kicking, just on the floor.
It was a proper, and then I was like, okay, there's nothing I can do that would make this, because as soon as one more Clark goes in, then this escalates. We managed to drag him away. The girls do most of the job of just screaming, stop, stop, stop.
The biggest thing of ever being around a fight, which I'm not regularly around, but you just always hear girls going, "No! Stop that now!
You what, mate? You bloody...
This is madness! No!" And it's actually...
You bloody...
It's actually the most like horrible part of a fight, hearing just women shout
the
like
women
that.
scream.
Because they sound genuinely traumatized. It's horrible.
It's the mixture of the...
And then just...
But the girls on their side were screaming to stop as well. And to be fair, at least it didn't seem like they were like out for the kill. They were happy as long as we backed off. They were happy to let it slide. So we had to drag them away. And then what was embarrassing is of the people, there was a group of like 20 of us. Of the people who were around the fight, there was 6. 2 girls, 4 boys. The 3 boys.
No, there was 3 girls and 3 boys.
No.
Hey!
Well, that's what I...
Actually, someone made the point about the fact you're not legally allowed on trampolines. So it could have been a very different. This is the slander
that I really wish I'd got at least a nick, because it was really embarrassing when we met up with the group again, and there was
everyone's faces exploded,
and you are just... and I'm clean as... It looks like I hid behind the girls as a human shield, when actually I was the only non-hothead.
You were like the war
saved
journalist.
The day, arguably. I was the one who
saved the fucking day.
Because I know how to speak to other people. And I looked at the man across at me and I said, why are we fighting, guys? I looked at him and I said, what is the point? What are we gaining from this?
Yeah.
And he went, you know what? I'm glad you said that. I'm sorry.
That's what
Thank
I
you.
said.
Do you have a Patreon?
That's what I
I'm
said.
subscribing today.
That's what I said. I just went in there before it started to get ridiculous.
You were hot-headed.
I wasn't that hot-headed.
I was cool
I still said this is, well, yeah. But that was that. So then I've ruined several of my clothes from blood.
Covered in blood.
The issue is with being actually there's one I'll show you this picture of me on the train when I looked exactly like Elephant Man for quite a long period of time.
Yeah.
But the journey back was amusing because I went back with Adam on the train, and obviously looked ridiculous. Kept dropping my wallet and things. I was definitely concussed, I think.
Sure.
I've done a lot of speaking to myself around the house when it doesn't, and like kind of clocking that I'm doing that, and then it not making any sense whatsoever as well. But we went in and got beers on the way back. We picked up the beers. No, we got off. We went into Wells. We were on the tube. We went to Wells Court, and I was there dripping with blood. And then the train went backwards. The tube from Wells Court, the tube went backwards. It started going to the other stops. So me and Adam were going, the train's going backwards. What I thinking I've gone to some sort of concussed parallel universe.
Sure.
But apparently it quite famously divides at Wells Court.
It was famously.
Yeah, famously.
Yeah.
So then we got out. And then we were gibbering around the street, me bleeding, going, well, the train just went backwards. This doesn't make any sense. Can we have 3 beers, please? And then I got 3 beers in a bag. They brought them out. They dropped them on the floor. They smashed everywhere.
Really?
Went back and went, can I have 3 more beers, please? And then we got into an Uber. And then whilst we were talking about the fact that we dropped 3 beers on our way down, because Adam was fucked as well. He was as useless as me. I was holding another beer.
He didn't even get punched. He was just drunk.
No.
Yeah.
And as I say, a part of it, because every single guy that we then informed what would happen.
They were like, if I was there.
I wish I was fucking there.
Everyone.
Like, no,
it was a fascinating
Yeah.
look on masculinity, actually, because, you know, when I speak to friends in comedy who have grown up in different areas of the UK, like, fighting is just, even our flatmate Adam, fighting is just...
I'm glad he wasn't there.
No, but I'm saying he grew up in Blackpool, and he would just say that, like, fights were just a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
You just have school fights. We never had school fights.
No.
Or anything like that.
We more had school bundles.
We more had, like, it was more homoerotic at our school.
Oh, yeah.
And more sensual. And also...
That's because I just tried to grab...
The abuse was more complex emotional
yeah.
abuse.
I just tried to hook one of their legs and go, got ya, bundle! And then they saw that as wrong.
But yeah, that's the thing, is it's like, even speaking to different people who you just meet throughout life, it's just interesting that, like, fighting for a lot of men growing up, that's just a normal thing.
Yeah.
On a night out, people start, and we've never been those kind of
We
characters.
had one at Lewis
Well, yeah.
on your birthday.
Which we'll get to in a sec, because I've also been punched in the face with the exact same group of people.
Yeah. It always happens with them. But
the hotheads.
The hotheads. They are our hotheads, but we love them. And that's why we do these things.
Exactly.
But then then getting back, but the amount of admin that is involved in getting punched in the face, because what I was thinking about for the whole day after and the day after that, because I would never hit someone first in my life.
No.
So when I'm thinking, when you punch someone, the pain isn't that bad. It really hasn't been that terrible. It's more like the after pain is the issue. And it's the constant application of antiseptic wipes.
Yeah, that's not
and
cool.
Plasters and icing it and shit like that. That is where the real pain of being punched comes from. Do people who punch know that? Are they like, this isn't... Because it doesn't hurt that much in the moment, but like, oh, you're going to have a fucking admin nightmare for 4 days.
Do you think it's like in medieval ages where they used to, like, soak arrows in piss so that when they'd go in, they'd
so
be
it's
more
not about the
infected?
initial
It's
impact.
Like, oh, you only caught me
It's
here.
about,
you wait for a...
Good luck being on that
14 working
GP
days.
waiting list, pal. Heard it's pretty bad of mine because of COVID. Ever heard of it? That's what I feel is the more landing impact of a punch.
Yeah.
Is the admin involved after. Going out and buying antiseptic cream. I lost my fucking vape in the incident. Had to go and buy another vape. It's been a nightmare of admin rather than a nightmare of pain. I am going to have a scarred nose. That's going to be part.
Well, you've been very unlucky with your face in general.
Yeah.
You've been dealt tough hands.
I mean, the thing is, what's even more frustrating, I was nailing my skincare routine.
You really were?
It was on fleek, and now it's back to being shit after one day. Do you know what happened? I got a haircut, and I was nailing my skincare routine. That was last week when I wasn't on the fucking podcast.
Yeah.
So now,
As soon as
this has happened, now I haven't been able to wash my face for 3 days because it's too swollen and it hurts too much.
Yeah, because you regularly get cysts. Like, your face is constantly trying to destroy itself. It's like trying to commit suicide.
It doesn't need a scar on there. But now I'm going to have one in the middle of my nose. Jury's out whether it will be ridiculous or sexy. We'll find out.
Yeah. Because what makes a sexy scar?
I've asked a few women,
Yeah.
and they've all said sexy, but they'd all lie to me.
They're all lying to you. Because
Yeah.
a sexy scar...
Eyebrow scar's sexy.
That's sexy. An eyebrow scar is sexy.
It might be.
This isn't sexy, I don't think.
Do you not think?
Because that looks like you've nicked it on a desk that you've fallen into.
Well, every woman I'll ever meet next, I will say.
Exactly.
It was from a fight.
Yeah, you need to...
I didn't nick it on a lamppost.
It looks like
I'm standing up to litterers.
Yeah. It was such a posh boy fight though, because the thing is,
Look, I have a zero tolerance policy on litter.
we're in East London. I don't think I would ever dream of even getting at all. I won't get Larry with anyone, but you wouldn't even dream of doing it in an East London park. We were in Fulham. We were in a green in Parsons Green, which was like, I remember walking. We travelled there to see our friends. I remember walking past the pubs and saying, everyone here is so Parsons Green. It was just like Barber jackets, just like with the people sitting in the pubs outside. It was literally a chorus of Roger, It was all boaters and rowers, and clearly we found the one group
and Max
who won.
decided to get Larry with the one group that wasn't.
Who were like the most violent people I've ever seen in my life.
They were. I mean, if there's a chance that this is from one punch, so you've got to hand it to them.
Exactly.
That was quite a hit.
But also, what's interesting is it's like pretty much from the second Max said, pick up your litter, it was so little time before a punch went to his face.
It wasn't. I was watching him for a while, and I thought, I don't need to go over there yet. He'll walk away in a second. And I think I watched him for about a minute, and he wasn't walking away, and they started to look more aggressive. So it wasn't. It was about... And then I was punched within about 10 seconds of going over there. So it was about a minute and a half in total.
He'd gone in with his... he's got a hero complex, so he really got in and said...
I don't have a hero. My friend was against 20 guys with a fucking tree branch.
You're imagining yourself walking in there and being like, look, lads, we've all had a couple of bitches to drink. Let's just leave it out. But you went in there and just got smacked right... It's just unexpected.
I'd do it again.
Because we've all had verbal clashes on nights out and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's always been the underlying potential risk, but it's just never happened.
It's never happened.
So it must have been
that
a
happened
shock.
very quickly. Yeah.
It must have been a shock that you go over and before you know it, a literal...
Well, you don't really understand that you've been punched for a minute. When it's that hard, you're just like, you kind of get up in a daze and then like, oh.
Yeah, and speaking to both of you guys afterwards, it was like speaking to a wall. There was so little emotion. It was just like you weren't laughing, you weren't crying. It wasn't like
I was laughing about it.
But it wasn't like it was clearly trying to bring it up or like trying to talk about the thing. It was like you were on a slightly different plane. It was I could see there was birds around your head.
Yeah, a little bit. But then also you're answering the same questions to like 15 different people, and you just I'm just gonna stop talking now because it gets boring. Which is another part of the admin explaining to everyone what's fucking happened to you.
Yeah, that must be a nightmare.
And then
they must have thought about that
to shop assistants, to vape owners, of them going, well, so what happened? You say it. Explain the situation that my friend started it and I came over to make sure he didn't die. And then them going, well, it's just not worth it. I know it's not worth it. I wasn't picking people up on littering. I was just walking over there to try and defuse the situation.
Do you think maybe we can get, if David Attenborough or Greta Thunberg, wouldn't it be great if this story gets picked up and you guys get like an environmental badge of honor for defending the litterers?
If you guys feel it's necessary to get in touch with your city council members or just Parsons Green Park officials, or if people that are doing the good fight, if there isn't that is the definition of a good fight. Me and Max are both eco warriors.
Yeah, that's clearly, yeah. You guys deserve a plaque in Parsons Green here.
Yeah, here, the Battle of Parsons Green, 2021.
I mean, if it was on a Wikipedia page, where they do like belligerents, casualties and stuff,
yeah.
It wouldn't come off great for our group because it would be 3 casualties on our side, one on theirs maybe.
I know we lost the battle, but we won the war.
We won the war. We won the moral war.
Max said he went back the next day and he saw no litter in the park.
Did he?
So our job is fucking done. And frankly, I'd do it again. If that means that our parks are going to be a safer space for the future, then I'd do it again.
You're doing this politician's thumb.
Yeah, exactly. I think I might apply for the Green Party.
Yeah. What is like the hard edge?
And that's my hard edge. And it's a hard edge, but also kind of like a trauma.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get what it's like.
Well, to be honest, I like a lot of what the Green Party stand for, but they're such a
they're pussies.
party. And it's like, they often have some of if you look at base value policies, they have some of the most hardcore, radical, interesting, world transforming policies, but it's always done by these sort of librarian looking cucks. Remember they had a joint leadership and one of them was Natalie Bennett, that the least charismatic Australian woman. It's like, you're not going to be Prime Minister.
What are you doing? Caroline Lucas though, she was a babe.
She was the one that, and the rest of them were all just these kind of creepy librarians.
Here's the new face of the Green Party.
Exactly. Do you believe in Harvey Dent?
I believe it. Yeah, everyone believes in Harvey Dent. Two-Face. My whole face is fun.
Do you think you have a? Do you have a different? Do you think you'll have a different view now on like Hollywood fights?
Do you know what? I've been watching Invincible on Amazon. It's like a new semi-anime cartoon thing. And there's been loads of it's really gory as part of it. And I keep going, no, his nose would be a lot worse than that.
What, in animation?
Yeah, correct. Well, I'm just like, no, his nose would be worse. And I was like, he's going to have a scar there.
To his own.
Yeah, because genuinely I've been looking at, and like there was one today that I was looking at where he woke up the next morning after he had the same cut on my nose as me. I was like, oh great, I can agree.
Relate.
I can relate to this. But he woke up and he had the black eye, but he didn't have the thing in his nose. I was like, well, where's that cut gone? I was like, he needs to go and get some fucking tape on that and get it glued together, and it's going to be told there's like he's going to scar.
Because it's like, I know you've had a period a couple of months back of watching a lot of Tom Cruise films, a lot of Tom Cruise action films, and I watched a couple of them with you, and it does seem like a hallmark of late Tom Cruise is extraordinary amounts of punch-ups.
Yeah.
And what's missing is it's always like...
As a survivor...
Tell your story.
I'll tell my story again. What you and this is in the period when you're in recovery, is that when you see these things, all you're thinking about is your face would be so much worse than it is right now. Like, you've got to weigh lightly, pal. You can't just have a bruise under your eye. You've got to have like permanent long-term damage. Yeah. So I'm more resentful of things.
Yeah, because it's like, this is with the action stars. If you're a soldier, I imagine, with full kit and armor, I guess it's probably easier to avoid bruises and stuff. But in action films, when Tom Cruise got a leather jacket on and it's just fisticuffs, most of it, because it's very, very rarely just bang, bang, bang. A lot of the time it's fisticuffs, and it's like he's like clarting like 7 vaguely Eastern European men. Is normally whenever I pop into while you're watching something to ask you something, I'll look up at the screen and there's Tom Cruise clarting 6 vaguely Eastern European men.
The bad guys.
The baddies.
Come on. We can't be more clear. Someone's got to save the world.
Yeah, and then sometimes he gets smacked in the schnoz, and that's what's missing. Is it's like in Jason Bourne films, which I watched recently again. You know, every time he got hit, it should be a long period of the bruising, the kind of...
That's maybe what we should do a film about. The admin after getting punched.
One punch.
So it starts on an action sequence, but then the rest of the film is like a romantic art house piece. About a dark art house piece. What
about a lady helping him get to recovery from his one punch?
Yes.
That's interesting. That's a good...
Yeah.
So who's in it?
Who's in it? Right, that's a good question. So we need... I'm trying to cast the lady first. Do you want it to be kind of an unexpected romance, maybe a bit of an age difference?
Ooh.
So I'm thinking Meryl Streep.
Older man, younger woman would be interesting, wouldn't it?
No,
I was joking.
Yeah, cool.
Can you imagine in this economy?
I'm thinking Meryl Streep is the woman kind of nursing about together, and that bloke who played the other guy, the secondary guy in The Great Gatsby.
Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
Tobey
Maguire and Meryl Streep.
That's okay. All right, I think I got it. Tobey Maguire it starts off, it's like a cheesy Tom Cruise style.
In a way, he looks a bit like me.
Yeah, and also Tobey Maguire doesn't have the looks to maintain an action film, really.
Thank you.
He was Spider-Man, but he's not bringing people to the box office like Tom Cruise every year is bringing in at least 500 mil.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire had Spider-Man when he was young and boyish looking, but since he's not going to... he can be a weird villain, he can be a comedy friend. He doesn't have the face to support an action film. Apart from if it's like a B-movie.
Yes.
So it has a feeling of a B-movie action film. He's got the leather jacket on, and then it's the first fight in what would be the classic thing.
It has to be over litter or I'm walking. I've got to get that core message across.
Okay, so it's over littering, but it's over a government conspiracy by the Russians
who are dumping
in the
mass
West
amounts of
to try
litter.
and undermine.
Well, they're not dumping like nuclear waste; they're dumping litter
to undermine democracy in the West,
saying your government doesn't trust you. No, your government litters.
It's a comment on Cambridge Analytica. It's Russiagate. It's
Clearly.
talking about how
that goes without saying.
The East is undermining the West democracy, and it's their fault. So it speaks to a lot of liberal anxieties anyway. So that's money. That's bums on
money
seats.
In the bag.
That's money.
Bums on seats is one of my favourite expressions. It's too visceral.
It's
too visceral.
You shit out your bum.
You do. You poo out of it.
So I don't want to hear it when we're talking business.
No, neither do
I'm
I.
thinking they take a shit on the seat. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Farting.
Farting happens as well out the bum.
Yep. It does.
So I'm saying it starts off Tobey Maguire, he's uncovered a huge littering scandal by Russia to undermine democracy in the West.
In the ways.
He catches
In the ways.
he catches a group of 6 Eastern European men littering.
Vaguely.
Yeah. He goes over there to start a fight, hits one of them, gets hit in the face.
Yeah.
Then a woman pulls him away. Meryl Streep pulls him away immediately.
Stop this!
And they stop immediately.
Yeah.
And the bruise is massive. And
Yeah.
the rest of the film is her sensually nursing him back to health.
Yeah.
And him falling in love with an older woman when he, at the beginning of the film, is like this creep who's like,
He would never.
only like young
Because he had a
girls
really traumatic experience in his past with a relationship where he was betrayed.
and hates his granny.
He's a big hatred of his granny. Massive granny hate. Maybe he killed his gran.
Yeah. Played by June Squibb. Do you know June Squibb? You know the old lady in Nebraska?
What we do now. Yes!
Yeah, you know her.
Yeah, I do,
That's
yeah.
June Squibb.
Nebraska, yeah.
She plays the grandma.
Oh, no, great, yeah. Okay, I can sign up for that.
And then, yeah. Okay, that's that film done.
Yeah, well, just my final point on this is that I never, because I thought would there ever be an episode where I don't wear the sunglasses, but this has been you can't wear it on a broken nose; it can make it worse. So I'm now forced to come out into we're doing it really early in the day as well.
Exactly, yeah.
This feels like a different podcast.
It does, yeah. Well, I think ideally we would do it early because later in
Because
the
I
day.
fall asleep at like 8 p.m. now because my brain's damaged.
So this is a rare occasion where you could do it earlier because the later ones, I'm sure you guys have noticed, the later they get pushed, the near the end, Andrew starts getting more drunk and aggressive and tired.
And confused. Yeah, no, this is, I mean, again, it's the only one we've had the opportunity to do early when I have a massive headache. I can't talk properly. My nose is completely blocked and there's some searing pain. But look, comedy, let's move on. We've done that. We've addressed it. That's it.
Okay, so obviously, technically it was bad news, Andrew getting punched in the face, even though in many ways it was good news. But for the podcast, another great bit of good news. We have been contacted finally after, I mean, it's taken a while.
Yeah.
But we have been contacted by a sponsorship. You know, we've finally been, I got messaged on Instagram being asked to be an ambassador for a brand that I feel very strongly about, and I'm very happy they've reached out.
Sadly, it's not Gaviscon.
Sadly,
that was the big
still
one.
in the works. But you are now looking at the new brand ambassadors of the great institution that is Smooth My Balls at smoothmyballs.com.
.com, not .co.uk.
There's .com.
.com.
International.
Smooth
Smooth My Balls.
balls.com.
They're keeping the balls smooth internationally.
Part of the massive hypermarket that has existed for men's manscaping nowadays.
It's a competitive industry.
It
You've
is.
got Manscaped. You've got like.
Why
there's-
has that suddenly jumped up? Of course, there's like now that the metrosexualism exists and having a better kind of body hair grooming exists. That's great. Do you think that's the only reason why there's just been an absolute influx of different companies?
Well, I think for kind of masculine podcasts, even though the majority of our listenership are actually women, and this is actually a female podcast.
This is a problem.
This is, but people don't know that because we give off such
Yeah.
masculine energy. Boys, punches, knock off
glasses.
Oakleys, like trousers,
Crocs. That's
think
enough.
Let's think of 5 more.
Vapes,
Socks.
socks,
IKEA, flat pack
flat packs and plants,
dead plants.
There
There we go.
Men,
Masculine.
manliness,
It's slightly gay, but it's still male.
metrosexual.
Metrosexual.
Oh, there you go.
Metrosexual.
There it is.
So though we have somehow ended up with a 56% female fan base, we do scream men and we scream smooth balls.
Men!
regularly.
It's
And
not
we
the
scream
funniest
smooth
segment,
balls.
but-
Smooth balls! But
Yeah.
but finally, but yes, because in podcasting with advertising, Manscaped, Smooth My Balls, MeUndies, it's always these kind of like small, kind of everyday things that they think they can make money off from podcasting.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that you'd hear and think, yeah, I'll buy that. I'll use the
What?
code.
You can't be
You're not gonna be
advertising
enticed.
Rolex.
Yeah, you're not gonna be enticed to buy a piano from listening to
Use the
Boys Gone
discount
Wild.
code
to get 10% off a 10 grand piano. But maybe we need to reach out to, the thing is, because female grooming, they've got it right for centuries. Like, they know how to groom their downstairs. They're never regions. Manscaping is now only becoming a thing recently, but we need to maybe find if there's an equivalent female company to cater for our female viewership. Venus.
Well, no, Venus is already a thing.
It's too
It'd be
big.
something like like not calm my vag, but like
so what's that?
because
Smooth
it
balls.
says smooth my balls. It should be something because smooth my vag would work as well.
Landing strip.
Landing strip, bit masculine though, isn't it?
Well, that's what you do when you do it.
Yeah, but it sounds a bit fucking. It needs to apply to the female market.
Yeah, flower power.
No, it needs to be
That's
something
like a 60s cop show with about 2 females
yeah, like shiny vag.
who are hippies. Shiny vag, not sure
Shine
about
my,
that one.
shine me,
Shine me vag.
shine me,
Shine me vag.
www.shinemevag.com.
Well, maybe we should make this. Maybe why don't we
can make
why
this
don't we
product,
become the change
but-
we want to see in the world?
Before advertising a new potential business idea,
Yeah, let's stick
we
with the one
have some genuine sponsorship work to do for as brand ambassadors of a brand. We feel very. What I like about Smooth My Balls off the top is that there are many different ones. There's things like Manscaped. There's a couple of others, but the emphasis on these things is discretion. You know, in other podcasts, they talk about Viagra pills, balding pills. There's a lot of these things that are kind of like uncomfortable things for men to deal with. You want to have smooth balls, you want your dick hard, and you want to keep your hair. But you don't want it to be called something that's on the nose.
Just listen to my soul.
Yeah, you don't want it to be on the nose. What I respect about Smooth My Balls is they've thrown that out the window and they've gone. You know what it is.
Look, you want smooth balls?
We'll fucking sort you out. They've got 3 main things, which is hedge clippers, pretty on the nose, turf chopper, pretty on the nose, and pube muncher. They've got a product called the pube muncher.
Yeah.
All right, which munches pubes.
Yeah.
Which. The other ones, at least there was a little bit of artifice there. It was a little bit playful, but I like how on the third product they're like, it literally just munches pubes.
Munches it up. Munch your pubes up.
If you want smooth balls and your pubes munches, then you come to us.
What they've also done is I've famously, and have spoken about this a lot, don't have much body hair at all.
No.
So it's an amusing thing that I will be in any part advertising a brand that is about.
Well, we can be before and after because I'm a very hairy man and I have
But not visibly so.
Yeah, not
because you've got like wiry white hair, like an old decrepit man.
It's true, but it's also not visible because we're talking about ball hair, aren't we? And I don't put my balls on show on the pod, so this is about discretion.
You make some good points.
Thank you very much. So it often feels like a losing battle trying to tame your ball hair.
Is this you kicking off your ad? Because it really fucking sounds like it.
Well, beforehand, do you want to read our ad reads?
Yeah, I have a horrible feeling we've gone for very different things.
So you want to start with yours first? Basically,
I did one.
We don't know. We don't know what this is. We don't know what each other's is. But we said, right, this is our big opportunity to prove that we are financially viable as brand ambassadors.
We're trying to monetize the brand.
We're trying to monetize the brand. We're not doing great financially. Andrew's, Look at him. Look at him. We're not doing great. So we wouldn't have sold out like this. But we need some cash and we need it quick. And we need our fans to have some smooth balls. Because if there's 2 things we love before we start, it's people who pay, it's getting money, and it's 2 things we like from you. Firstly, you giving us cash.
Your hard-earned
and second, you guys having smooth balls.
Having nice, smooth, voluptuous balls.
Okay, so
do we
now
want to start? Because I did one for each. I did one for the pube muncher and one for the turf.
You do both back to back, and because basically when I will look at professional podcasts, they always have these very pristine ad reads.
Yeah.
And when Smooth My Balls said basically you can advertise for us, they didn't give us anything, and we had to do all the work ourselves. So I was like, all right, if you want us to do the ad read, we'll do the ad read.
And this is what you're gonna get.
This is what you're gonna get. All right, Drew, you take it away with your one.
So this is for the pube muncher. Tired of clogging up your sink with your pubic hair? Fed up of having to trim those balls in places that society deems appropriate? Ever wish you could have a friendly-looking cartoon character physically eat your pubes? Then look no further, as the pube muncher is the jolly blue pal that you've been looking for. Shave your nether regions any way you want now, as our handy pube muncher fits right into your pocket and easily picks up any sprawled follicles without a second thought. Itchy crotch on the bust due to overgrown pubes? Pube
Munch
muncher.
those pubes.
Struggling to focus on question 2C of that sticky exam because of an overgrown jungle down there? Pube muncher. Our jolly blue friend lives to eat your pubes, and after trying the pube muncher for just 1 week, you'll wonder what you ever did before having that little blue friend in your pocket. Batteries not included. www.smoothmyballs.com/ballsgonewild.
So we've got a discount code, and we'll put it here right below now. If you want to get a discount of any of my Smooth My Balls products, you need to type in www.smoothmyballs.com smoothmyballs.com/ballsgonewild. That's the key thing, because then we can get some cash.
Right, that was the pube muncher. I then lost a lot of effort on the turf chopper, so it's a lot more odd. Remember, I have a concussion. The turf chopper. Balls are a man's game. Balls are for men, and men have balls. What do you call your pubes? Pubic hair? Your private garden? Wrong! It's your fucking turf! Apocalypse Now! Black Hawk Down! Dwayne The Rock Johnson! What do they all have in common? Helicopters! Choppers! Don't shave your balls like a pussy. Shave your balls like they're balls. Why is there for pansies? So we don't have any. 360 ball shaving, hands-free, balls deep. Sack nipping is for nipper snappers, so if you want to nip sack, then snap...
Go on.
Sack nipping is for nipper snappers, so if you want to nip sack, then sack yourself off. Nip sack in the bud and get yourself some turf choppers. www.smoothmyballs.com/ballsgonewild.
That's amazing.
I think I'm going to pass out.
That's incredible.
Okay.
That was a great ad read. So you now know the two main products, Turf Chopper and Pube Muncher. For mine was just a general Smooth My Balls ad read. Okay, no, I'll do this seriously. Do you ever feel like no one likes you? Like maybe your parents regret having you? Do women regularly physically assault you in disgust? Well, it's probably due to your balls, your turfy, puby, rough balls. No one likes you and no one likes your rough, hairy balls. For centuries, rough-balled males were outcast of society, beaten and oppressed, history's losers with no hope of redemption. Until now! Finally, the boffins working at Smooth My Balls have discovered a technology to finally smooth your horrible, sinful balls. Armed with a turf chopper with its nickless blade, you'll shave off not only your horrid ball hair, but also the worst excesses of your awful personality. It's a must-buy. Also, as a bonus, have you ever wanted your pubes munched? Have you ever screamed... Have you ever screamed from your window, will someone for God's sake munch my pubes? To no avail. Worry not, because your best friends at Smooth My Balls have made a new product called the Pube Muncher for munching away any unwanted pubes in your sink. Who needs a girlfriend when you've got a pube munch to munch away at your pubes? For a discount, please type in www.smoothmyballs.com/ballsgonewild.
Well, we did it.
We did it. So please do that, because we'd really appreciate a bit of cash in these trying times. And that, from what I've heard, Smooth My Balls is actually the best of these products on the marketplace, and that's why they're doing such a heavy push, so that everyone can at least try it out and see that they really are the best on the market.
Did they actually? Did you get told to say that?
Well, they told me that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
no, I just wondered because it sounded like we had too much creative control to be true, and then it feels like you've then come in and then.
Well, they've said
they look really good.
They've said that if we do a review of the Smooth My Balls, then they'll share the clips. Well, I wonder if they'll share this. I don't know if.
I doubt it. Because I think you don't. I think particularly my bit with a man, a very unsettled-looking man,
it's not a
shouting, "Buy this product! Do you need it?" It's not the best, but well, that's. I mean, maybe this is the start of, as we've often discussed, the media conglomerate is obviously the end game here.
Yeah.
So mate, it's the start of that. At least, like, we'll be looking back when we're advertising Verizon and BP Oil, and we'll be
BP Oil. That would be an amazing advertisement.
Yeah. What would the ad read?
For a discount code on 100 for every 100 barrels of oil you get a failed state.
Because we're hoping to leave you guys, this listenership behind, and have just like oil tycoons and other media conglomerates.
We don't want
loads.
People.
We want more
better
money
people.
in each individual person.
Yeah.
So we hopefully will cap it. It will be eventually capped to like you have to have it be worth $1 million to view it. So then our advertisements work.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Is like in the way that you kind of have like those sort of like Clinton style fundraisers where to arrive and fundraise for a charity, you have to spend 30 grand or something.
Yeah.
And it makes the room full of elites, perfect networking opportunity, and a bit of social capital.
A bit of green. Oh.
But we can do that with our podcast, where you have to invest 30k in, so that the other people are listening are also mega rich guys, and then all of the advertisers. So you're gonna have some like East Asian slave who's munching away at your pubes anyway, because you're an Illuminati rich guy. You don't need.
You've got no interest in the pube munching.
Yeah, and that's fine. There's no disrespect there.
Yeah.
But we'll just selling Rolexes, yachts,
the dream is
oil.
that the podcast becomes more of a networking forum rather than us having to do anything.
Well, we kind of, it's like a meetings incentive thing.
Yeah, I know, but then once we get enough people, then the money runs itself.
Exactly.
We sit back and we have a pina colada.
Make that cash liquid.
Flip it. What are we going to liquidate?
Yeah, we're going to liquidate that cash, flip it.
But then what about our capitalised incentives?
Well, if we capitalise the incentives, sit on that 5 years, doubled in value, bang.
Bang. That was a mathematical equation of why we don't need you.
But actually we
really do.
In the real world,
in the real world. Yeah, so me, Horatio, and our flatmate had a very interesting discussion about chocolate last night.
Yeah.
And
fascinating.
Riveting.
It's funny. Sorry to interrupt you just when you started. It's like we got really excited that we had 2 really juicy bits, and then it's like back to what we'd normally be talking about. It's like right back onto what the normal shit is.
Yeah, chocolate.
Let's talk.
So we all have our favourite chocolate, sure. Now I have often said that a Ripple is kind of the height of chocolate in itself. Full stop.
Completely fine to say.
Yeah, you act like I was insecure about it.
I'm just saying,
which I'm not.
I fully agree, but it's not offensive.
What they need to do is make a Ripple bar, okay? And I've had pushback because people say, it's just not possible, Andrew. It can't be done. You're not thinking straight.
You're a dreamer. Well, you are not thinking straight.
It
has come around the time you got
It's
planted.
not, and I know it's not the best time to kind of voice any business ideas. Think about like a barge, but you can dance on it. But the Ripple bar has legs because when you have a Ripple, anyone that has a Ripple and likes a Ripple knows that all you want is more bloody Ripple. Yeah. And you can recreate the Ripple in itself because all it is that chocolatey exterior with a kind of layered texture inside it. Make that into a big bar, everyone's laughing.
I don't know how far Ripple gets across, and we've got quite a lot of international. I know I spoke to a fan today who was from New Zealand. We have a German fan. We have fans. So you need to explain.
Australia and New Zealand need to sort their naming of shit out. Forget what we were going to talk about.
Really, you've just
forget what we're going to talk about.
Okay, wow.
Give me your pen.
What? We're just starting a chocolate conversation. Jesus.
In Australia,
we'll come back to the chocolate.
In Australia, Just Eat is called Menulog.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
In Australia, they call Just Eat Menulog.
It's absolutely
and
disgraceful.
They ridicule.
I saw on a podcast 2 Australian guys.
I know you told me this, but now I'm more outraged than you are about this. They ridicule us for calling it Just Eat, thinking that's weird, instead of calling it Menulog.
Yeah.
As in, Menulog, you're literally logging from a menu.
It's absolutely insane. So I saw on TikTok 2 Australian white dudes around our age who seem to be, in many ways, the Australian versions of us.
Yeah.
Were talking about, do you know in the UK they call Menulog Just Eat? And they're like, that's a bit gay. Yeah, that's just weird, mate. What are you talking about?
What the fuck is your problem?
What the fuck is your problem? Just Eat. I know that you get used to a name, but can we just say objectively, I feel if ours was called Menulog and theirs was called Just Eat, I would go like,
theirs
that's
is better.
Theirs is better.
Theirs is clearly
Menulog.
better. But what's fascinating about it is the marketing, if that's their opinion, the marketing team for Just Eat clearly got it right. And how the fuck did they know that Menulog would be more successful in Australia? Menulog. Menulog.
It's the worst thing ever.
As in, it's a log of menus. Is that the whole point, that you have a log of different menus? It makes it sound like you're going to a fucking library.
It's absolutely terrible. Just Eat.
Just Eat is
Did
like,
somebody say Just Eat?
All it's saying is, don't worry about cooking. Just eat. How this simple?
Don't worry about cooking. Just Menulog.
Don't worry about cooking. Just sort through our entire selection, our log of menus, and then eventually come to a decision, order upon our app, and then it will be delivered to you subsequently.
And it's the horrifying, I saw on TikTok, the horrifying realisation of seeing their advert where it goes, did somebody say Menulog?
I would hope that Snoop Dogg would refuse to do it for Australia. Yes. Because that is fucking obscene.
That's why he got paid so much. Do you know he got paid like 30 mil for those ads?
Yeah, of course.
It's probably because he was 10 mil and then he had Menulog.
He was like, yeah, I'll do it. Not a great Snoop.
That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, dog, I'll do it, sure.
But we got another one.
This shit about Menulog? Damn, no.
Is that the end of the...
Yeah, well, I was just him saying I'll do it for another 20 mil. Okay. So I didn't want to put everyone through my accent enough of that. But
yeah, dreadful.
That is, I appreciate cultural differences.
Sure.
And I'm out there and here and ready to say, yeah, fair enough. It doesn't make sense to me, but fine. Makes sense to their culture. Menulog, no. Australia is not different from us enough to suggest that can be catchy.
So Menulog, if it was in Norway, kind of a Scandi country, maybe a German thing, you can understand. Das ist Menülog. It's like, okay, that kind of works, you know. Did somebody say Menülog?
Again, with your lack of German, you can't even say, did somebody say? Or you can say, that is
Do you know,
Menülog.
did somebody say?
Of course I don't.
No, of course you don't. Did someone say?
Dies Tag Slag
Did somebody say Menülog?
mit Slag Menülog.
That, I'll be like, that makes sense.
Fair play.
But Australia, the chilled out, the cricket playing, the barbecue having, always short.
What, do you want to pick up some Menülog? Not good.
But they call all their mates like Jono.
Jono.
Hey, do you guys want to pick up a menu log?
Jono, do you want to get a menu log? You know, I can't. My point would be proved if I could do the accent. That's the thing.
But yeah, the conclusion is absolutely clapped, and Australia needs to take a long, hard look at yourself. Because if you carry on with this stuff, we're coming back.
We're coming back.
The Queen's had a lot of soft power in Australia. She's still technically a head of state, but that's a symbolic value, which if she oversteps the line. But if she finds out about Menülog,
I don't think she'll be happy.
The Marines are coming in. The SAS are going straight in, and we're taking temporary control.
We'll be on the front line. Because I, for one, cannot stand this to happen.
The Third British Empire, we're going to go again, man.
Menülog. How pathetic. How pathetic is that entire nation that they think Menülog is acceptable?
I like Australians until I found out this.
Me too. Big fan. Big fan.
I really liked. I think they've really done a lot. You know.
Never meet your heroes.
Never.
But back to chocolate. So I believe that the Ripple Bar is the kind of future of confectionery.
But what I was saying, which is like the Australian thing, is some people don't know what Ripple Bar is.
A Ripple.
I mean, in Australia they'll probably call it fucking chocolate dick.
Somebody want a sugar snack? It's pathetic.
Does someone want a cacao sugar snack?
God.
I'm just popping out. Does anyone want a Galaxy cacao sugar snack?
So it's Galaxy, but in America they call that Dove. That's something like fine, fair.
You need to get to your point because
Also I want it because it's also I find it fascinating how there's a marketing team that know that the word Dove is going to do better in America than Galaxy is in the rest of the world. How the fuck do they know that? It's really interesting.
Okay, sorry, it is really interesting. Once again, we need to get to this fucking Ripple chat, but
the Ripple chat was only a precursor.
Just on this.
Yeah.
So like I saw whenever I went to another country, a classic thing of knowing you're on holiday is when you see Lay's instead of Walkers.
Yeah.
You see the Walkers logo and you see Lay's, and you immediately say, I must be in a third world country because this is, you go to Italy or Spain and you see Lay's and you're like, these people are 30 years behind.
As in you'll get put in prison for kind of walking the wrong way.
Yeah, it just feels like this is a failed state when you see Lay's. Okay.
Yeah.
And I did some research because Walkers, Gary Lineker.
Everyone knows this, by the way.
Yeah, but Walkers, everyone. I know everyone knows.
No, maybe not. Sorry, continue.
So Walkers in the UK, Gary Lineker is famous for doing the advert. It kind of speaks of a very British brand. It feels like it's kind of as British as Coleman's, as British as systemic racism. It's like those are the big things we have. Walker's Crisps to us feels like a very British thing.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, it's a Canadian brand.
Yeah.
And 95% of all, basically all other countries call it Lay's.
Yeah, that was the
we're
thing.
the menu
Yeah,
log of them.
We're the menu log of them. But the thing is, Walker's Lay's, we're not the menu log of them. We're the Dove Galaxy of them. Like, fair enough, whatever. It's different, and it's weird that it's different. But Walker's fine. That's a fine name for crisps. Lay's fine. Also fine name for crisps. I know it feels weird, but it's not menu log. Let's not say it's menu log, okay? But yeah, so Dove Galaxy Dove. So wherever the heck you are in the world,
Type some more. If you know any, comment some more.
Yeah, some of the more of the weird differences. Like, okay, and there's something. I think Opal in this is clearly something that gets me really upset.
Yeah.
I think Opal in a lot of countries is the equivalent of Vauxhall, a car.
That's weird.
I think it's that,
different vibe.
or it's just a completely different car. I know. I think it is
the concussion's kicking in. If you could try and finish this point on the Ripple.
So the Ripple point.
It's a flaky circular log.
It's a flaky circular log. Write that down for the name later. Flaky circular log made of Galaxy chocolate, but it's creamy. It's one of the lightest bars you'll ever eat, and it kind of melts in your mouth. But many people, it's hard. It can akin to a flake. It can be difficult to eat because of crumbling.
But easier than a flake because it's wrapped in
wrapped in
a
kind of
smooth
a smooth chocolatey exterior.
Yeah.
Exactly. Make that into a bar, you're gonna make millions. That was just my chocolate idea, which is more to bring up the fact that I have more of a credence in chocolate ideas because I am potentially still, I might have been excommunicated from it, but a part of the Nestle consumer panel. So
it's a big part of your life. It's a couple of years, wasn't it?
A couple of years of my life. So in year 13, must have been. But this is the king. None of you would have seen it, and it's a real shame that none of you saw it because it changed my life forever. There was an Aero. I know you're hearing the word Aero, and you're going, "Why is this guy bringing this up in like a goats of chocolate?"
3-star chocolate.
Of course, it's a 3-star chocolate, but the chocolate that they produced on a limited edition series was a 10-star chocolate. Okay. It was a white chocolate Aero bar, and it was. I bought one just out of pure goddamn curiosity. Back when it was more my sweet confectionery stage for life. But had it blew my cock off. And Straight off. So I'm a eunuch. So that's why I'm on the consumer panel because
and
I've had
that's why
to...
he's representing Smooth My Balls.
Smooth My Balls. Because...
and where his dick is, it's just a smooth...
Too much of the pubic shaving industry is focused on the cock. I want one that's just the balls for people that don't have a cock. But so... It is a limited edition, and on the back it had I think now I'm remembering it, the most incredible amount of artificial preservatives and negative ingredients in there. I think it basically said you'll get a heart attack if you eat it. But my God, was this chocolate something to behold. Okay. It was the most astonishing thing I've ever had. So because it was limited edition, I got a bit hooked on it. So I wrote into Nestle to say, you have to keep this going. You can't cut off my supply. You need to keep this chocolate going because it's the nicest chocolate I've ever tasted. I'm aware it's probably going to kill me 20 years earlier than I should.
Sure. Take it. What's the last 20 years anyway?
But I don't want to survive. I want to live. And their response was, thank you for your interest in us. Would you like to be on the Nestle consumer panel? So then for the next 3 years, it was me getting questions about my chocolate habits and me just answering them. And the thing is, I love a survey.
Yeah.
Do
you?
I love a survey. Because surveys bring people together. Let me tell you a story.
No, go on.
There was, we were on the train. We were about to get a train from Brighton to Hassocks. And there was train line representatives handing out big survey pamphlets. Yeah. Huge ones, like A4 with loads of pages.
Huge, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, for a fucking train. Sorry. So they were handing them out, and I said, "Yeah, that's fucking
it's huge." I was just imagining A3.
Yeah, well, that'd be obscene, wouldn't it? Can you fill out this survey for us, please, for free? So no, they were large. It was like A4 with several different pages on it, and I thought, "Yeah, we're gonna go on a train journey. I don't want to talk to you anyway. I was with a friend. Let's go and smash out this train survey." And then we got in, started filling out the survey. It was a quiet carriage, and then the man next to us was like, he looked at me and went, "Why the fuck are you filling in this train survey?" I went, "Because it's surprisingly fun." And he went, "All right." And then he came over and he helped us fill out the survey. And I made a friend that day.
Wow.
Surveys produce companionship in people.
There is something, because obviously I've talked about this a lot, where I feel we need some more kind of collective things. We're being more forced into our own individual little nooks. And surveys should be one of the many things to bring people together.
Sport, culture, surveys.
They bring people together. And I think part of what's so... I actually hate surveys, but that's because I just get super stressed out with just...
You can't really write.
It's just... It's all too much.
Reading and writing is a...
Yeah, and being told to fill out something in a certain time makes me have a flashback to school, and I'm like, I'm not going to do it.
There's no time limits on most of these surveys. That's just you panicking about it.
But it is. I heard a stand-up do a good routine about how basically surveys that it's almost like it's really relaxing because it's just like a really, really easy exam.
Exactly.
You know, what's your name? I've got this question. Bang.
Absolutely, you bang on.
Age. Yeah. Got that. Date of birth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got this.
Yeah, that's the thinker. Oh yeah.
Race.
Oh well, this
depends which day it is.
Okay, we're going there, are we?
Depends who I'm hanging out with.
Have a couple of us around the train carriage. Well, I guess we're going for it.
I always put other white.
Yeah, other white.
Because there's like white British, there's black, Afro-Caribbean, Indian.
Do you always put other white?
Always go other white.
Do you?
No.
Yeah.
But I find other white's quite funny as a thing, because other white's basically saying like you're from Eastern Europe, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
It's like a wink.
It's like you're white, but
You know, you don't have to specify it.
Yeah.
But we know.
But we're not going to hire you for the big jobs. You're not that kind of white.
But we know what you mean. But please specify if you are other white, because we'd like to know. But so and is that, but also people love answering questions about themselves. That's a big thing. As in, there's something satisfying about ticking along, about you answering just the questions, feeling like you're getting it right, but like talking about yourself for a long time is how they get you with things like this. So maybe don't do surveys.
You confuse the message. I mean, the tail end of this otherwise very good episode has been incredibly schizophrenic. It's been all over the place. You still haven't explained your Ripple bar idea. I don't know if you're just going to bin that.
We'll leave it.
just gonna.
No, because what I think it would be the revolution and therefore the future in chocolate. But I need the boffins to go and work it out in the lab.
We can come back next episode and try to explain.
If someone genuinely has, because I've been facing flack on this, because people, it just wouldn't work, Andrew. You're a dreamer.
Yeah.
But it can work. And I know one of you scientific minds out there will be able to give me a kind of blueprint, diagrams appreciated, of how to get the Ripple chocolate bar into a wider form rectangular large bar. That's it.
It won't work, but we'll get back to that on maybe another episode. To end the ep, because what we forgot to talk about in the kind of maelstrom of having too many things to talk about was it maybe a bookend of starting with how you got punched in the face. We could talk about
how you got punched in the face.
I've only been clarted once, and I was punched on my 18th birthday on a pub crawl in my hometown of Lewis with Paul and Max.
And
the two hotheads and Andrew, and is often
and
the
Andy
case.
Williams actually.
Yeah,
he was the main belligerent.
There's other people there, and is often the case when we're around Paul and Max. We're a cooler head when we're drunk, and they often get us into shenanigans with their hot-headedness. When it's just me and Andrew, we actually rarely get into any sort of scuffle.
Oh, there's no scuffle.
We're extraordinarily diplomatic when it comes to violence.
We might do a couple of sarcastic comments, but that will be the extent.
That's as far as it goes, and under our breath, so they can't hear it. And after they've gone to the loo.
Well, I'm not sure you should be wearing that t-shirt anyway.
Exactly. And I've been told many times, assumed by many people, that I get punched in the face a lot. I've got a face that implies that I've been punched in the face much more than I have.
I would love to see you with a swollen nose.
Exactly, but
just because it's so small.
That's part of it, but it's upsetting how excited people get by the idea that I might have got punched in the face. Often people tell me you're going to get punched in the face. I never really have, but it's the assumption that's more painful than if I did get punched in the face regularly. I've only been punched in the face once. It was on my birthday, and it was when our other Max got you punched in the face, and our friend Paul got me punched in the face because Paul was riling up this sort of quite drunk, quite incel-looking guy, with like the rectangular glasses. So he looked like he works in IT sort of vibe. With like the kind of short back and sides, but a bit overweight. So he looks like kind of a bit like a lesbian sort of vibe. And
Lesbo incel guy. Lesbo incel.
Lesbo is IT guy. Yeah. And Paul is just riling him up because he keeps trying to chat up this girl.
Yeah.
And Paul he hears him chatting up this girl and just keeps saying, you want to sleep with her, don't you? And just kept riling up. And he's getting really, really angry. And he keeps going. And then Paul just keeps doing it. I am probably talking about, I don't know how much I've been getting into the Roman Empire recently or something dull. Saying how it's an interesting historical...
Familiar with the Battle of Bosworth?
Just having some stupid chat. Paul...
Planted from the left-hand side, they did.
...has kept putting, and then he says one comment too far, darts away like a mischievous Puck-like figure. And then because we look similar, we both got kind of blonde...
He is a Puck-like figure.
Blonde, short back and sides. Yeah. This drunk, slightly cross-eyed lesbo IT guy turns round, sees me, taps me on the shoulder. I turn around and he just punches me in the face. And I was a complete shock because he didn't realise it wasn't me. And I was like, what the fuck? I kind of worked out what happened. It wasn't that bad, but I did like a Neymar dive, like, no!
Yeah, I remember seeing you hit the floor.
And I was like, no! Because I thought it would be funny because it didn't actually hurt at all, but I was like spinning around, banging off the walls.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, this odd-looking guy with like a monk-like baldness, with like the rim, wearing this kind of blue hoodie, fat jeans. And
whenever a fight appears, ethereal creatures come.
Ethereal guys. So he came out of nowhere. He wasn't seemingly with anyone.
Yeah.
Straight away, my friend's like, what the fuck are you doing? To the guy who's just punched me. He comes out of nowhere, out of the shadows, with just like an Alabama slammer, Deontay Wilder
A Rhinestone
punch.
Cowboy.
Rhinestone Cowboy. This mega punch smacks the guy's punched me way harder than he punched me, because it really wasn't hurt. It didn't hurt me at all. There wasn't even bruising.
Hit his head.
Smacked him, and then it was like stuff you see. It was quite surreal. He gets hit. He then falls.
Yeah.
Hits his head on the curb.
That was pretty. I remember the sound.
It didn't even look painful. It looked like death.
It looked like he was gonna die.
I saw him hit the ground, and we all saw it. His head went down. I'm like, that's how people die.
That is like, because it was on the curb of the road.
That must be the number one way that people die in pubs.
Yeah,
is getting hit and hitting the curb, because he fell down.
Oh, it's horrible.
And it smacked. Loud crack. The guy with the blue hoodie puts his hand in his pocket, then waddles out of there. We're left with the thing, and then somehow the guy hit his head on the curb. His head sort of bounced up and just sort of got up immediately and was completely fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure he was long-term fine.
Yeah, I saw him in an off license in Brighton 6 months later, and he apologised. So it wasn't the most hardcore punching.
So I think the lesson of this episode, kids, is go and get in fights, because nothing bad can come of it. Only I have one 6 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. I'll be in an offie around London.
And then maybe the people will go, I'm really sorry about that.
Come up and go, you know what? I shouldn't have done that.
And then as he walks out, I'd go, chucks a crisp
zero
bucket.
tolerance policy, Alyssa, bitch. Crack him with my elbow. Revenge is key.
Thanks for listening, guys. Subscribe to the Patreon.
And I've got to go fund me for medical care.
And we'll see you next week.